like the car park, and boom, nice. Evening all, welcome back to the channel. So today we have, well, WASD controls are in. You can see this little dial in the middle here. Look, if I hover imminently over it, you can see, well, you can't just kind of right click and orbit anymore. This is the old Eve staple. We are basically now in a non-staple timeline. I like it. I think it's interesting. It changes the game almost massively, because the ships basically were just, you know, or you'd warp in, you'd do approach, orbit, whatever, and you kind of sit and watch another another Netflix documentary. But now you can't already do that. So literally, as I do WASD, clicky clacky keyboard, let's give it some welly. So it's E to go forward. You see that, and then if we just pull back, so you see that. Ooh, very nice. We're going to go and orbit this thing. So let's lock it. Now you can't just right click orbit. It's interesting. Now my immediate thought of this, love it. Love it with just a reckless abandon. Because to me, this is what Eve isn't. And I think we need to have some differentiation. Otherwise it's just the same game over and over. So let me show you kind of what I've been figuring out. So if you hold Alt, you can lock. You see what I'm doing now? I'm actually able to lock it. Actually, I'm out of control there, so let me just go back to normal. So there we go. So you see, put it back to center. So if I just then don't hold Alt, you see there, I'm kind of then having to hold the key. That makes sense. Let's just mine while we do this. And we're going to try and put it into a slow circular orbit around this here rock. So what I think I'll do is put a few turns of lock onto it, just to kind of get to about there. Right, I've got 14 minutes to do this. And then we're going to give it a bit of lock to the left. You see how we've done that? So we've locked the helm to the left. Come on, this is interesting, right? This is fun. Like, this is like, wow. I never really appreciated actually that there's quite, all right, hang on, too much. Like your young cousin in his Fiat Panda, you're about to drift into a fence. So there we just have to give it a bit of opposite lock. We could increase speed, maybe that's what we do. We could put a bit of extra speed in it. Maybe we try and orbit quicker. Look at that. Look at the detail. Suddenly, you see more of the game. It looks a bit more impressive, right? Like this, that looks rather splendid. I think you can agree. If you don't agree, what more do you want? Seriously, this is pretty good. Like, I'm quite impressed with this. I can only imagine that it's going to annoy the power players, because it's slowing everyone down. Like, you warp into a load of drones, you've got to really think about how you're flying. You can't just pick a can and orbit it at 60. You actually have to think about it now. I think that, I like it. There's something very, very Moorish about this. I like it indeed, because look at that. I'm genuinely flying this ship right now. It's a bigger ship and it's quite lumbery, bit like your mum, but it's interesting because really, you know, it's kind of got a sense of weight about it, bit like your mum. And I think that's quite nice. Again, bit like your mum. I quite like it. I think this is good. Now the warping isn't different. So you just basically select warp, and it will align and warp, which I think is a bit of a cop-out. I would rather actually need you to align, like in Elite. Maybe they'll bring that in, but, you know, if I was going to give this an opinion, right, I mean, look at it. I need to go over here now, so I need to power up. So let's get a bit of lock. Let's aim up. I mean, look at that. It's brilliant. I love it. I really like this, but I can just see that people are going to be like, no, I can't power play. I can't literally do this, do that. I have to think about it and play the game now. Not interested, you know, 1 out of 10. And I do feel sad for that. But to me, this is one of the greatest in you know, additions to the Eve game. I know they tried to put it in Eve Online. It's the wrong game for it. It's too throwaway. It's too excel in space. It's too simple a game. It's not Elite Dangerous. It's not Star Citizen. Eve is always going to be more an opera at the higher level. This could be quite cool if they had this in the game. The problem is it's going to be quite tiring, I suspect. I think this will quite, you know, it will honestly tire people out, I think, is if you have this sort of requirement to fly this way. But anyway, I like it. I just can't imagine it's going to stay. I think they're going to get rid of it. But I do think I mean, you know, if I just think about the sorts of games that I would rather play, it's something like this. A bit more War Thunder than I don't know, Excel in space is the only thing I can come back to. You know, a bit more War Thunder than Stellaris, if that's a fair statement. A bit more War Thunder than Sins of a Solar Empire, which is really what Eve is when you think about it. Right, let's lock our helm. Let's see if we can do a bit of drifting. I think if we do full lock, we can actually do a full drift. So let's just try and do a full drift. This is like your mate Kev in his Ford Escort down the Tesco's car park at night, yelling to you over the car park, "Hey Dave, watch this." And then 20 minutes later, the police, the fire brigade, you know, security, everyone. Look at this, we're drifting. We're drifting. We're literally like that, like the car burning and doing donuts in the Tesco's car park. We're doing it. It's oh, come on, this has got to be like worth a shot, isn't it? I mean, this looks fun. I mean, look at that. Look at me. Oh wow, did I just bash something? I think I did. Oh wow, that's interesting. Oh, of course they've changed it. Right, let's try and headline into something. Right, let's do a full spin. I do like it. I think this is very, very partial to this because it's actually, well, it makes the game more interesting. It makes the game feel big. It makes it feel even more of a problem. Look at that. We're backing off. We're doing a what do they call it? A J-turn. That's how cool I am, brah. Right, let's just go headlong into a refuge. Look at that. Turn. God, this thing's slow. Right, let's see how this looks. Are you ready? This is like the car park and boom. Nice. I like that. That looked pretty sweet. I think this is pretty cool. I like it. I don't know what your thoughts are. Post in the comments. I would be keen to know your views. I think a lot of people are going to be like, oh, was it Bitcoin game now with WASD? Oh, just not interested. I can't, you know, imagine flying a Titan like this. Oh my God, it would take forever. But I just think there is something about this that I just think makes me suddenly way more interested in the game. And I like Frontier. I have not an issue with it. But to me, it's always felt like a very sort of budget version of EVE Online at the moment. Whereas adding something like this, and if this was literally in the game and there was no option to go back to the old controls, I would be like all over it. I would be just so loving it. Yes, it makes everything hard, but I think sometimes you need to have skill of a game, don't you? I mean, there's very little skill in EVE Online. When you talk about elite PvPers, they're people that are quicker and faster at orbiting at X number and then engaging guns. It's not particularly, I mean, when you sort of see a fleet fight end, it's like, well, your guys had the better connection. I know, controversial, right? This is probably going to get me some flame, but I don't care because I genuinely think that this could be the beginning of a much more interesting game that isn't just EVE Online in a skin and a party hat. It could be something that actually is very different. Because if you imagine, like, you know, you're going to do a fleet battle like this, you can't just follow the flipping commander at 10 anymore. You actually have to think about your position. I mean, the fact that you'll shoot your friends with friendly fire, love it. Like, this just takes that to another level. You know, CCP, I salute you. This is exactly the way you should be going with this sort of game. The problem is now, how do you sell it to a group of EVE people that really don't do skill? I mean, I think the fact that EVE created a first-person shooter is almost comical, because most people that play EVE, they ain't very good first-person shooter people. They're people that are very good at spreadsheets. And I'm getting real flame for this, and I include myself in that. I am atrocious at first-person shooters now. Every time I play PUBG, it's literally like watching a child in a wheelchair be abused by a clown. It's terrifying, right? It's just absolutely terrifying. So this is my view of it. I like it. I think it's interesting. I think it has merit. I'm excited to continue to try it. I want to build a few smaller ships, because obviously where I am right now, I don't have smaller ships. And we'll try it out, and I think it could be quite interesting. I think there's definitely something here. There's a couple of new ships as well. I'm just going to point these out. So let me just take all this out. We now have the Karam, which it looks like it's got some special nonsense to build it. I don't think I like it. It looks like a flying wheelie bin. It looks like a skip that's being propelled through space. And we have the Stride, which I think is just a terrible name for a ship, really, when you think about it. And it's basically the same thing. It's like, I don't know, to me, that just looks weird. I kind of like it, actually. It's kind of cool, but at least got skin. And the brand new ships they released have skins, and yet my Hades does not. Go figure. So, yeah, I mean, I like it. I think there's some interesting movements in this game. I would recommend you get involved because I can see that there's definitely a lot of love from the developers here. I mean, to put in something like this, it's ballsy as heck. But you know what? I give them full credit because, to be honest, I think it's the kind of thing that you need in a game like this to differentiate itself. And I think a 3D elite, if you see what I mean, like an outside of the ship elite, which is what this is going to become, is going to do better than another Eve clone for a game that's just like, it's dwindling a bit now. So for me, this could be something quite special as we just do our drifting donuts in space. Hope you enjoyed that. Short one, but I just wanted to bring you something rather fun. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.